What if your love language isn't who you are, but what you didn't receive when you needed love the most? Hey, it's Veronica, and welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode is a personal one, and it's also a collective one because what I'm about to share lives in many of our bodies. It's about love, but not the kind we see in movies or measure in languages. This is about the love you may never have received, the presence you may have needed but didn't get, and the love that was always there, even if it got buried beneath survival. In this episode, I'm not giving you a formula, I'm offering a reflection, a remembering. We'll explore why the ways we try to receive love, words, touch, time, service, may actually be echoes of absence, and what it means to stop performing and simply be. If you've ever felt unseen, unmet, or like you had to earn love, this reflection is for you. Let's begin. What is love really? Not the kind that performs, not the kind that demands, not the kind that waits for someone to decode your cues or to meet your conditions, but the kind that sees, that stays, that holds. Love is presence, and presence is love. Everything else is noise, or a story we picked up when presence was absent. You don't need to be touched a certain way to feel loved. You needed to be held when you were afraid. You don't need words of affirmation to feel worthy. You needed someone to see you when you were hurting. You don't need gifts to feel valued. You needed to feel like you mattered without needing to earn it. Your love language may be the echo of an unmet need, but love, true love, is not a language. It's a state of being. It's presence. When presence is there, nothing is missing. And when it's not, everything else becomes compensation, filling the void with gifts, words, or acts of service. When I was a child, I didn't want gifts. I just wanted someone to stay in the room with me when I was hurting, not to fix me, not to explain it away, just be there. But that didn't happen. I learned to stay small, to stay safe. I became fluent in energy. I could feel the shift in a room before the door even closed. My nervous system didn't wait for words. It watched, listened, anticipated, disappeared. Later, I called that love. But presence was what I always longed for. I didn't know how to receive. Love has been sliced into categories: touch, time, gifts, words, acts. We've been taught to believe we speak different love languages. I believed mine were words. Maybe yours is touch, or time, or acts of service. We cling to these styles like lifeboats, trying to understand why we feel unseen, unmet, unloved. But what if those love languages are just echoes, not of love, but of what was missing when we needed love the most? Your love language might not be who you are. It might be the language you had learned to survive absence. You crave words because silence once felt like punishment. You crave touch because no one held you when you were scared. You crave acts of service because you were left to handle too much too soon. You crave time because you were often left alone, wishing for moments shared. You crave gifts because no one made you feel valued unless you earned it. I craved words because I needed to be affirmed and understood. Words were my lifeline, a bridge to connection when presence was scarce. I held on to compliments and validation like oxygen, not because I was vain, but because I was afraid I didn't exist without them. So I learned if I say the right thing, do the right thing, make you feel good, maybe I'll feel loved. But that's not love. It's the scar, the signal, the compensation. These cravings are not flaws or weaknesses. They are reflections of a deeper yearning, not for performance, but for presence, not to be fixed, but to be felt. They are imprints of your journey, the silent stories your heart tells about the times it felt most vulnerable. And yet, beneath all of these languages lies something more true. Love's most authentic form can't be categorized. It doesn't need translation. It is not confined to what was absent, but it is found in the presence we offer each other now. In the gentle act of simply being there, we can offer healing and wholeness, not by what we do, but by who we are with each other. This changes everything because if love is presence, then healing doesn't begin with being understood. It begins with being with, not performance, not proving, just presence. This shift invites something deeper to create spaces where love isn't earned but freely given, where the heart doesn't have to speak in code and the body doesn't have to brace for rejection, where love sounds like silence and looks like staying, not to fix, not to manage, just to witness. Presence says, I'm here. I see you. I'm not fixing you. I'm not managing you. I'm with you. When we offer that to one another, gently, consistently, something begins to unravel. The echoes of absence soften. The nervous system exhales. Connection becomes possible again. This is how we transform the past, not by rewriting it, but by showing up differently now. True love is not defined by the language we speak, it's felt in the presence we embody. And in the simple act of staying, we speak the most powerful love language of all. That's it. That's everything. The body knows this kind of love. It softens in its presence. The nervous system remembers this is safety. Love, in its purest form, is the gentle unfolding of presence. It doesn't need to be earned. It doesn't need to be translated into touch, tasks, or timing. It simply is. It shows up in the quiet assurance of companionship, in the felt sense of, I'm with you. As we explore the essence of love, we begin to see it's not about filling gaps left by what was absent. It's about creating new, abundant spaces where connection can grow. It's not about fixing what was broken. It's about meeting what still longs to be seen. It's about honoring each other's stories, not as deficits to be corrected, but as sacred threads in a shared human experience. We start to notice the subtleties of real connection, how a silent nod can speak volumes, how a shared glance can carry deep understanding, how simply sitting together can rebuild what once felt lost. These small moments are not small. They are the threads that weave the fabric of true love, a love that is both a balm and a beacon, soothing what hurts and lighting the way forward. By embracing the essence of love, we move beyond the languages we learn to survive. We remember a shared language of presence where every heartbeat, every breath becomes an affirmation. You are here. I am with you. This is enough. Let us move beyond the confines of compensatory love. Let us step into the wide, welcoming field of presence, where love is not a translation, but a truth we carry within, always ready to be shared. Ask yourself, when did I first learn love had to be earned? What was I trying to feel that no one could give me? What does my body do when I finally feel safe? Love isn't in the language, it's in the pause, it's in the stillness, the eye contact. It's in the moment where you're no longer trying to be loved because you are. Let's take a moment. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Breathe slowly. Ask your body, where do I feel safe right now? What part of me is still waiting for presence? Can I be with that part just for a moment without fixing it? Let whatever arises be met with kindness. You don't need to explain it. Just be with it. There is only one love, one language, presence. Everything else is a brilliant creative compensation for when presence was absent. You didn't fail at love. You adapted, you protected, you survived. But now you don't need to live in those patterns anymore. When you realize this, something shifts. We stop asking others to perform. We stop performing ourselves. We start practicing presence, first with ourselves, then with others. We begin to understand love is not a performance. It's a state of being, a quiet art form, one that requires presence, listening, authenticity, and vulnerability. In this art of presence, we find something radical, the freedom to be ourselves without pretense, without proving, without apology. And in that space, connection deepens, not through grand gestures, not through perfectly chosen words, but through the quiet assurance that says, you are seen, you are heard, you matter just as you are. Love is not something you must strive to earn or prove. It is a gift. It flows when we soften, when we open, when we stay. So let us return to the art of being with ourselves, with one another. Let us create a world where love is not a scarce performance, but an infinite offering, a steady flame, a shared breath, a sacred pause. Love is here, in the moment, in the breath, in the pause, and you're finally safe enough to stay. What happens in your body when someone offers you real presence? Do you freeze? Do you deflect? Do you try to explain it away? Do you shrink yourself before they even speak or brace for the moment they leave? You're not broken for that. You're remembering. You're remembering what it felt like to reach for love and not be met. But what if something new is possible now? What would it feel like to stop performing, to stop proving, to simply be right here with your breath, in your body, as you are? You don't need to prove that you're lovable. You only need to stay with yourself long enough for love to feel familiar again. Begin there. That's presence. That's love. Thank you for being here, for sitting with this reflection, for staying in the room. What we call love is often a mirror of what we learn to do to survive. But presence, that's love in its purest form. It doesn't require performance, it just requires you. If this episode spoke to something inside you, I invite you to return to it. Pause, reflect, maybe even let your body speak because it remembers even when your mind doesn't. If you feel called, share this with someone who might need to hear it, or leave a review to help others find this space. And if you want to go deeper into this work through reflection, somatic pause, and inner alignment, you can sign up for our Presence Notes newsletters. You don't have to figure it all out today. You don't need to force a next step. Just notice what's here, breathe with it. Let your mind be still. Let your body remember. Let your heart return to what's true. Stay with yourself gently, honestly, fully. Because the more you stay, the more you return to who you've always been.